Apologize if mine are any repeats, but start with this one. And if you don't understand me, they're right here in big letters.
Okay.
I apologize, my voice is gone. Other than the final product, what was your favorite part of composing for these recent projects?
I think for me, it's like, well, there's so many, but one is like making friends with the people you're working with. So for Orion in the Dark, we got to know the director really well.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to like hang out with him because composing can be so solitary. Yeah, I don't know. It's just nice to connect with people on a personal level.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, as you develop those professional relationships and the bonds that form, and also coming into Kung Fu Panda with like this existing franchise and kind of the honor of like being brought into it, and kind of people know Poe, and then how can you live up to that creative legacy? And it was great collaborating with all those people involved.
That's awesome.
We also recorded live instruments for them, so that's pretty exciting. Like, you hear your music that you write on your computer, and then you hear an orchestra play it.
So it's very
it comes to
rewarding.
life. Yeah.
So, sliding door moment.
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you hadn't followed this particular path that's brought you your current success?
Yeah.
Sliding door in terms of
Like
not being in music, or just not doing the type of projects I'm doing now.
Either or.
Okay.
if I weren't doing music, I would probably still be doing something creative. I think I would be doing like something related to art. That's what I wanted to do before I wanted to do music. Like concept art for movies or something like that.
There's a common thread. I've asked this question of the other composers here, and it's always something creative.
Yeah.
But
Probably soccer star. I think, because sometimes I do consider this like AI takes over, but I think I love like psychology, and like I think listening and helping people. So I think I always thought therapy and being like a therapist would have been like psychologist would have been a fun
That's
life
funny.
path, and aiding people in that journey.
I think Jake said bartender.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
picking
you like to
medicine.
listen.
Yeah.
So I'm always curious. It was kind of touched on in the panel about musicians' ear. Can you turn yours off when you're watching a movie or TV or playing a video game?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think if the movie sucks you in, then you kind of stop analyzing things. And, yeah.
So it's not difficult for you.
You've done well.
I mean, for me, like, but also like even if I'm listening analytically, I'm still enjoying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't take away from the experience of being an audience member.
How about when you're watching your own work?
That's hard. I don't like doing that.
Yeah,
Well,
it-
usually, yeah. Recently, it's actually gone okay, but
Right. It can be like you would I guess it's kind of good to reflect on those moments, being like, maybe next time I'll try this.
Yeah.
But it also is nice when you get that swell of pride too, and you're like, wow, this turned out really well. Or
Right.
hit that turn in the movie, really nicely.
I loved your answer in the panel about The Land Before Time. That was honestly very cute, because I watched that when I was I think it came out in the either late 80s,
yeah, like
early
89 or
90s.
something. Yeah.
So it was actually a theme song for me and my best friends. So when you
wow.
That Diana Ross song at the end,
Yes.
like, dun, dun. Yeah.
so when you gave that answer, I was like, this guy is awesome. Dream project. What are you?
Land Before Time. Maybe like Legends of the Fall, like a sweeping romantic drama, or like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dream project, it's tough because it's like, I might need some help with this one.
Like something you've been.
Well, I guess one thing I like is like always having variety. So like if like the one thing I do is different than the next thing I do. So like I love like writing like melodies and doing something emotional that can connect with people. But if I've just done that, I might want to do something that's like more obscure, like edgy. So and then a lot of it just comes down to like is the person I'm working with inspiring. I might say, oh, I want to work with this like famous director, but then I work with them and I don't know. It's like not fulfilling for my personality. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Your greatest influence musically?
Musically, yeah, okay.
James Horner, probably. At least in terms of film music. Otherwise, U2.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I grew up like singing in church choir, so maybe I don't know if that music's an influence, but that's kind of like in some ways my foundation is that music. But then also my mom always was playing the Beatles and Beach Boys, so that music too. And then like yeah,
So, what generation do you fall in? Are you guys millennials?
yeah,
Okay.
Early millennials.
yeah.
All right. I was wondering because I believe music transcends generations. You don't.
Yeah.
There isn't one particular generation that can claim music because, like you said,
Yeah.
I'm Gen X. So my influences people think would be like grunge or
Right.
90s R&B hip hop.
Yeah.
But no, it dates back to my parents' time.
Yeah.
Right. So I get that. If you had to pick a generation to compose for,
A generation to compose, like if like I was doing
Like-
like would I be want to be in a grunge band or like is that kind of the question or?
yeah. Now
Well,
your own generation, what other generation would you find yourself more in?
maybe like medieval plain song. No, I'm just kidding.
Baroque
Like
music.
Gregorian chants.
Yeah. Being a monk somewhere.
Yeah, maybe not a monk, but
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Like for me, growing up, I really liked a lot of punk rock.
Nice.
So maybe like early '70s or late '70s punk or something like that.
You.
That's a good question. I would say the 70s, like funk and especially when they blended orchestral recordings, kind of those chamber orchestras with like cool pop songs like Motown.
Uh-huh.
I think that would have been such a neat, not only decade to be part of, but also write music and be part of the scene.
Nice. I think we're wrapping up. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
It's a great interviewing you. Nice to meet you.
Take care.
Yeah.